Thank you for joining, being the third day of our training so far on logistics and supply chain management. Without wasting much of our time, we'll move swiftly to the activity of the day. We did say that this today we are going to have assessment, a quick assessment to give us an insight as to what we've been doing so far, if people have been following or not. Okay, so we are going to have assessment. It's just about 20 minutes. It's just about 20 minutes. And I think MJB management would by sent the link to the platform for every person to go through and then answer the question, and we continue from there. So over to you, sir. Please, can you share the link for the assessment? And we start by 5:20 or 5:25 because it's 20 minutes test. Please kindly share the link.
Okay, Mr. Friday, thank you very much. The link is being shared right now.
Okay, thank you so much. So we are all enjoined to go right there, answer the questions. Immediately your time is up, automatically it will log you off. Okay, so it's just 20 minutes. Each question carries 2 minutes. So this is 5010. 5010. So our time starts now. Thank you. I'll meet you on the other side of.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Friday, sir.
I'm on transit from work. I don't know, and I'm joining from my
Mr.
phone.
Friday, sir.
I can be part of this.
Yes, I can hear you. The roles of a logistician, the advantages, reverse this and that and all that. So today we'll be looking at global logistics because at the end of the day, we are, like I said before, we are not planning to remain small. We are planning to be bigger in operations as supply chain managers, logisticians, and what have you. Hence, the need to understand what is obtainable on the global scene.
Sorry, Mr. Friday, sir. Hello, Mr. Friday, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Friday. The link is on. I don't know what you want. The link is on right now. The link has been sent. So I don't know how. The link is on the platform right now.
Global logistics. Global logistics. The idea behind this is simply to expose us to how logistics is being done globally, different from our conventional way of running logistics. Having a better understanding as to what form of documentations will be required in order for you to run a global logistic. Knowing some of the ethics and etiquettes, some of the rules and the regulations, everything that is needed that might be different from the operations within your environment, within your locality, your state, your country. Because first and foremost, we say that for one to be able to do business and succeed, you must understand some of these things. You must get to understand the culture of a particular country, their ways of life, their political terrain, economic level of acceptability or acceptance, and so on and so forth. So you do not run or jump into. You just wake up one morning and you say, I want to start a logistic company in UK. Do you have what it takes? Have you been able to study the environment? What visibility study have you done? What research have you carried out to know if you'll be able to cope or not? Will you be able to abide by their rules and regulations? In certain countries, bribery and corruption is nowhere close. And if you believe that what you are doing, you need to bribe to get your way there, it means you are not going to be in business, because they do not welcome that. What kind of business are you going into? Is the business prohibited in that company, or in that country, or it is accepted in that country? These are things that we'll expose ourselves this evening to. Global logistics therefore refers to the process of managing the flow of goods, information, and other resources, including energy and people, from the point of origin to the point of consumption on a global scale. Your ability to manage information, ability to manage available resources, ability to manage people, ability to manage funds from the point of origin to the point of consumption, that's to the end user. I am in Nigeria right now, and I want to carry out business, let's say with Mr. Andrew, who is far away, Canada. How will I be able to manage the free flow of information at my disposal? How information regarding that business that will help me in taking decisions? What mode of communication channel do we intend to adopt, to implement as business people? Do I have the manpower as far as this business is concerned? He is far away in Canada. I am here in Nigeria. What if I decide to give Mr. Andrew 1 billion naira, and by tomorrow morning his phone number is not going anymore? What if it's vice versa? He gives me 1.5 billion US dollars for a particular business, and by 12 noon tomorrow I'm nowhere to be reached. This is what we are talking about, being able to manage the flow of information, the flow of resources, that for me to be able to give my goods to Mr. Andrew, I must have done my due diligence, my findings, to understand that his company actually exists. He is not running a fictitious company. No, people fall into it. You go to the website and you see people advertising this and this, the kind of materials, the kind of goods and services on the internet is mind-blowing. And they tell you, don't worry, our office, we are using mobile office. Okay, we have done business with XYZ company, you can trust us, and what have you. You inject your money into it, and boom, they go. Why? Because you were only carried away by what you saw and not by what you experienced. Mr. Andrew, you have a company in Canada. It doesn't cost me, or it will cost me a lot to go to Canada to make findings if that organization actually exists, if what they claim they are doing is actually what is proposing to me. That is managing information. I can get a contact over there Mr. Andrew will not know about it. Oh, send me your company address. He sends me, and I give to somebody, and the person goes there to make findings in my own, for my own interest. That is what it is all about. The available resources must be well managed. The energy that you put into, because it will require mental work, that is energy. It will require planning, that is energy injected into planning. It will require coordination, supervision, controlling, that is energy injected into it. So this energy must be well managed. It involves the integration of information, transportation, inventory, warehousing, material handling, and packaging, often in a multinational network. I am shipping from Nigeria palm oil to Canada. The question is, does Mr. Andrew have what it takes to store the quantity of palm oil that I'm shipping to him in Canada? That is warehouse management. How will this palm oil be well stored? How will it be handled? Considering the fact that he may not even, have people over there that understand what this is all about. That is what material handling. Handling it in a way that from the point of origin to where it's going to, it is in the right shape. How is it packaged? How is it well packaged to attract international acceptability, to attract international acceptance, global acceptance? There are certain packages that certain countries do not allow. Hence, you must package your goods based on the requirement, the standard set by that company. The transportation. What mode of transportation am I using? Why am I using this mode of transportation instead of this? We talked about that last week. Because of the peculiar nature of the goods, the material, I need to also put into consideration the kind of transporting system that will be suitable for that material. Okay. So, when we talk about global logistics, what are the importance? Why do we need to go global? Am I going global with Mr. Andrews because, he speaks fluent English? I just admire his look. He's so handsome. The way he dresses, I get attracted to the way he dresses. Oh, he's so cute. He's so nice. Is that what is propelling me to having a collaboration with him in Canada? Is that the only reason? Why is global logistics important? Can two people just give us one or two importance of global logistics? Anybody, please, quickly. Why is global logistics important? Anybody?
I believe
Why is global logistics important? Okay, yes, ma'am.
I believe global logistics is important because presently, like the saying goes, that the world is a global village. There has been many migrations from one end of the globe to the other. So cultures have been migrated, even food have been migrated. So it's important for enhancing business. It's important to also helping people to maintain their culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For expansion of business, to keep alive culture, maintain culture. Thank you very much. Any other person? Why is global logistics important? Any other person? No other person?
I think global logistics is important because of
Okay.
efficiency in supply chain management. To enhance efficiency in supply chain management, because these days we are having integration that, for instance, ocean going vessels, let's say conveying maybe crude from Nigeria to maybe US. There are some supply chain activities that will take place, considering, for instance, things that has to do with maybe freight, insurance, and goods, which, for instance, Nigerians insurance companies cannot be able to handle the insurance aspect of the movement of, for instance, those goods or consignment from Nigeria to maybe Brazil or US. There are other companies maybe in Brazil or US that can be able to be sufficient financially enough to be able to carry out that insurance activities for that particular freight to move from Nigeria to Brazil or US. So to enhance that efficiency or success of that transportation movement or logistic movement, there is need for this integration in global logistics to enhance efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that elaborate analogy. You know, we understand in business that nobody is an island, right? A tree, they say, can never make a forest, right? And we understand the need for collaboration. Just like the last speaker said, you may go into supply chain, okay, and then the insurance in Nigeria or in any part of the African countries do not have the financial muscles to carry out this business, sustain this business. But when you now collaborate with other people in other part of the world, it becomes seamless because they have it, they have the finance, and they help you out. So that is what one of the importance of logistics when you go globally. We also say that it expands what customer base. It expands customer base. You are able to reach new markets. You were once one that operates within the confine of your state, the confine of your country. But with global knowledge, you are able to spread your tentacles to other parts of the country. They begin to, okay, for example, I have a friend. Her job mainly is to process food from Nigeria, package them very well, and send them to any part of the country. What is she trying to do? From this, we can see that her business is not only limited to Nigeria, it is everywhere in the world. The business is known. People begin to know that, oh, you can process a foriro, you can process yam, you can process your yam flour, you can process this, even bitter leaf. There's a way you know, people begin to know what we have in Nigeria. What is that doing? Reaching new market. Reaching new market. It also helps us to operate efficiently, because by the time you meet other people that know better than you, that are sophisticated in terms of technology, in terms of financial models, in terms of network, in terms of net worth, the job becomes easier. Okay? So, another more extensive network of suppliers and vendors, you are open to more opportunities, you are open to more vendors, you are open to more suppliers. Okay? Varied expectations from consumers regarding logistic quality. Once I begin to know that you've spread your tentacles outside the shop, it gives me more confidence as your customer, knowing well that before you can operate in other countries of the world, quality is paramount. You have a quality mentality. I begin to believe you, right? So, another advantages or benefits includes, like we said, expanded market reach, your supply chain optimization. You have a competitive advantage because you are doing things differently from the way you are doing or you used to do. You are technologically inclined, motivated. Information wise, you are rich. Monetary wise, you are okay. Connection wise, you are okay. So you have a competitive advantage. What you were not able to do freely before, seamlessly before, you begin to do them. Why? Because you have been able to build a world around yourself globally. You are exposed. Some people say, my eyes is open. I have now seen that things are happening. But where were you before? Because you were working in isolation. You were operating in isolation. So, example of global logistics providers, like we mentioned in our first class, the likes of DHL, everywhere in the world, they are there. The likes of FedEx, they are there. UPS, they are there. All of which have an extensive international presence and offer a broad range of services to facilitate global trade. For security reasons, for confidentiality reasons, I don't need to send a particular document through a friend that is coming from US to Nigeria. No, not that I don't trust him, but I need to take caution. DHL is there for me. UPS is there. FedEx is there. All of these people are, and you can see the way they are operating. Their levels of operation is different from the local level. The way other logistics companies in Nigeria operate, they are efficient, they are consistent, they are consistent, they are committed, they are time conscious. Customer service is paramount to them. Customer relationship is paramount to them. They don't take anything for granted. That is what is obtainable on the global scale. They prepare themselves before launching into the global scene. They made some research before launching themselves into the global scene. And what has been the advantage? The advantage is they are sought after organization. They are sought after organization, logistic company. You cannot mention two without mentioning DHL. Is it NIPOS that I want to mention? They are nowhere to be found. So we talk about some major functions of a global logistics provider. Transportation and distribution is a major function of what a global logistic provider. Customer clearance. I am there to represent your interest. Provided I'm charging you, I need to give you what you're asking for. I am a middleman between you and the company. I clear the goods. Some could be very complex because of documentation processes, which the customer may not have the zeal to wait, may not be patient enough. But because it is my field, it is what I do, I help you solving some complex documentation processes. What about the fees? Simplifying the import and export process for business. If you have ever filed for a document, let's say in Nigeria, on the federal level, you will understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about looking for a document or a license in your local government. I'm talking about looking for a license in the federal level. You will know that it is not an easy task. Does for the customer. Warehousing and storage. Global providers offer what? Strategic warehousing solutions, enabling safe storage and easy accessibility of goods. It's your responsibility. It's your function. Then we talk about supply chain management. The entire supply chain management of the logistic process lies in your hand. From the point of origin to the consumer, everything that happens in between, some could be off the scene, some could be on the scene. Everything lies in your hand. That is why you're a professional. That's why you've chosen the path of being a logistician, a supply chain manager. Good. So we say the importance of logistics in the global economy. The importance of logistics in the global economy. For example, we are in Nigeria. Imagine if we have the likes of DHL, logistic company, let's say 100. 100 might be too much. Let's say 50 of the likes of DHL, UPS, and FedEx. What do you think would be the economic advantage of these companies running logistics? It will boost the economy in a significant way. Foreign, more expansion of territories, more expansion of Nigerian products to the international community will be more visible, thereby bringing growth to the economy. We are small in Nigeria because it's just a few people that are seen out there on the global scale. So the importance of logistics in the global economy cannot be understated. It plays a vital role in facilitating the movement of services and information across the world, contributing to economic growth, efficiency, and competitiveness. Let's begin to see some of the highlights. Supply chain efficiency. Supply chain efficiency. There are certain countries of the world that when you mention supply chain, when you mention distribution, the country is mentioned. Why? Because over the years, they've created a niche for themselves. They've stood out amongst other countries of the world, and they are known. What can you say about logistics and supply chain without mentioning China? Without mentioning China. Of all the volumes of the product that they manufacture, it gets to the destinations as at when needed, when required. No stories. Why? Because they've over the years been efficient, over the years been committed, over the years been so consistent in what they do. So the supply chain efficiency is there. I can request for a product in China, place an order, and I'm well sure that it will get to my destination without stories. Why? Because they know the business in total. What about trade facilitation? What about trade facilitation? Because of the relationship they've created over years, it is easier for them to collaborate with other people in terms of finances, in terms of technology, in terms of manpower. Oh, I cannot move this product at this point in time. Can you help me out? They reach an agreement. Every form of documentation is done and they move. Why? Because of the collaboration over the years. Job creation. When we have, imagine, okay, like I said, having 50 logistics companies that are globally motivated, what will that do? It creates job opportunity. That is one of the advantages that it brings to the economy. It reduces the level of unemployment because companies are growing and they are going what? Global. It brings what? Employment. It is somebody that will be in the packaging department, somebody that will be in the warehousing, somebody that will drive the truck, somebody that will do a whole lot. Therefore, it brings what? It brings job opportunities. What about competitive advantage? Companies that invest in well-organized and agile logistics operation gain a competitive advantage, competitive edge. Why? Because when you are efficient in your logistics, it leads to what? Faster delivery time, improved customer satisfaction, and cost saving, making businesses more attractive to customers and investors. When you have a competitive advantage, people want to reckon with you. Other investors will want to, do business with you, invest in your company. Why? Because you are efficient in what you do. So, logistics is the backbone of global economy. Logistics is the backbone of global economy. Unfortunately, most local logistics companies are not fulfilling their legal obligations. They try to maneuver, they try to cheat the government, they try to cheat the economy. And when they do such, they further do what? Impoverish the economy. They further impoverish the society. But on the global scene, you are living up to your legal requirement, your legal rights. If the company is to pay 10% tax, it is paid. There is nothing like, boss, please, we do not, can you just collect this one? Give me the paper. You have nothing like that. Why? Because they believe that for you to do business in their country must grow. Their country must grow. Hence, you have to fulfill your need. Okay, so it brings about what? Growth, economic growth, sustainable development, and every other thing. The importance of having a global logistic network. I went for an event today, and along the line, I told the people there, I said, come, you all here are professionals. Get up and network. Get to know what your partner is doing, because that person sitting beside you, behind you, in front of you could just be the person you need for your business to grow. The networking started. There is importance. There is huge advantage in what? In networking. Why? You cannot stay in a place and say you want to be the champion. No. There are other people that are doing better than you. Why don't you find out what they are doing different from what you are doing as a logistician, as a supply chain manager? In today's globalized world, having a global logistics network is essential for any business that wants to reach new markets and customers. Mr. Andrew is in Canada. I am in Nigeria. I may not even get to Canada, but my business can be in Canada. My product can be felt in Canada. My brand can be felt in Canada. Why? Because of the network that I have built with Mr. Andrew in Canada. That is the advantages of what? Networking. But if I remain here in Nigeria and say, hey, God will help me, I don't want to take any risk. What if Mr. Andrew run away with my money? What if? Fine. It is important to put all those what if into consideration, but it is also much more important to take the risk than staying in one place and claiming that risks will not come. So it's important for us to have what? Networking system in place. So a global logistics network can offer many benefits to businesses, such as cost savings. Cost savings. Why is cost savings a benefit? I'm sending a particular good to Mr. Andrew. Sorry, I'm using your name up and down. I'm sending my product to Mr. Andrew in Canada. I discovered that the truck is not filled. The container is not filled. For me to be able to reduce cost, I can look out for other people that are willing to ship their product from Nigeria to Canada. Mr. Andrew is on the receiving side. He gets the product. Now, instead of me to take half of the container down there and paying the same cost, I can now share the cost among the people that are willing to send their product to Canada. That is cost savings. So by leveraging the economies of scale and the expertise of local partners, a global logistics network can help businesses reduce their transportation and logistics costs, as well as avoid custom duties and taxes. So instead of the 4 people that I have met to bring their product for this part to be going to custom at every point in time, I can be the only one, salvaging the issue as the middleman. That is cost saving, that is time saving. Then we talk about flexibility. Don't forget, we said that every business person must be what? Must be flexible. No room for rigidity. No, you must be flexible. That a global logistics network can offer businesses access to a wide range of transportation modes, options such as air, sea, road, rails. This allows businesses to choose the best option. But if you say it must be air, hello, do I have the capacity for air? If you say it must be this, no other option, that means you are not what? You are not flexible in your what? In your operation. We talk about speed. Speed is very important. Everybody wants to get their product at when needed. No wasting of time. Why? All the processing, of documentation had been made. Talk about visibility. Of course, you cannot overemphasize that when you go global, you are also spreading your tentacles. People begin to see you, like we said before. You're no longer a local champion, but an international champion. Your brand is seen outside the shore. You become visible. You become more attractive. You become more recognized. And people begin to have more faith, trust, confidence in what you have to offer. Any question, please? Can we move on? Can we move on? Any contribution? Any contribution? Any question? Can I move on?
Yes, you can move on. No questions for now.
From me,
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. Reverse and sustainable logistics. What is reverse logistics? We try to answer it in our second class, just as it sounds, taking something backward. We have reverse logistics, inbound, outbound, and so on. It begins with what? With the customer who is not satisfied with the product that is delivered and he decides to return. You ordered a product from Jumia. On getting to you, what you ordered is not the same thing that is brought to you. And you say, hey, I ain't gonna take this. You give it back to the dispatch. The dispatch takes it back to the warehouse. That is what reverse logistics. So it can also include customers who return products for recycling, resell, or refurbishing to get credit on a new purchase. So reverse logistics is not only when a product is defaced, it's not only when a product is damaged. No. Reverse logistics can be in form of, hey, for example, when you buy, let's say, your television set, you use it for 2 years, and there's a promo with LG. They say bring this and collect this. That is also what reverse logistics. But in this aspect, it is for what? It is for refurbishing, it is for resale, or it is for recycling. Take this, 50 inches. I will add money and you give me 75 inches. It's not that the product is bad. No, the product is good. But it is also considered as what? As reverse logistics, because it has left the hands of the customer back to the warehouse or back to the company where it was produced. Sometimes it could be a recall. It could be a recall. That's also what reverse logistics. The company realizes that a mistake was made for a particular batch of products, and they decide to do what? Recall all the batch that was sent out. That is what reverse logistics. At that point in time, it could be refurbished, it could be recycled, or it could be for what? For resale. Let's take note. So reverse logistics is used extensively with the goal of retaining customer loyalty and recouping value from return product. Because of the growth of the e-commerce, returns are now valued at nearly $1 trillion annually worldwide. $1 trillion. The amount of goods that have been returned. We retrieve the goods. We can recycle it and resell. We are not going to throw it away. There is still something that we can bring out of that damaged product. Right? So on a global scene, it gives about what, $1 trillion annually. To tell you how important reverse logistics is all about. Many organizations associate reverse logistics with simply handling return. It can be much broader than that. Some organizations have a department just for reverse logistics. When reverse logistics takes place, what comes to mind is what happened? Why was it returned? What can we do? Is there a way out? Who is responsible? When can this be addressed? These are the questions on the lips of the logistician. These are the questions on the lips of the supply chain manager. Because when a product comes in, you don't just accept it the way it is. Okay, fine, just take it there. You need to find out what happened so that you don't end up at every point in time recalling or recouping your goods. No, there must be questions that must give answers. So we talk about the 5 R's: return and exchanges. The best way is when there is a return, right? When there is a return, already the customer is pissed off. Already the customer is dissatisfied. Already the customer is vexed. What are you supposed to do? One, let there be an exchange. We take this and we give you this. If the customer says, no, I want this particular one, it is, okay, fine, give us an XYZ amount of time and it will be delivered just the way you want it, your specifications. You are not going into arguments, you are not going into throwing tantrums, you are not going to, just for you to be able to do what please the customer, because he has paid, he or she must have paid for the goods. So one of the things is what, sell high quality products, create clear product descriptions, avoid shipping the wrong items, establish processes to prevent product damage during storage or shipment. When you know that this product is bound to be defaced using this mode of transportation, avoid it. Avoid it. It's like carrying glasses on some part of a Nigerian road. It should be avoided because already you know the position of the road. The glasses will get broken. Avoid it. We talk about reselling return products. You can resell the return product because what is not good for another person might be good for another person. You can decide to sell it maybe at a cheaper rate, little fractions of it, and it goes off the market. But when you realize that you cannot sell it that way, the next is for you to do what? Recycle. So reselling return product is key, is advisable. Then we talk about repairs. If a product that is returned can be repaired, fix it quickly, inspect it, and send it back into the field. Send it back to the person after it must have been fixed, after it must have been tested and approved to be what? To be worthy of shipping. Then you do that. And then we talk about replacement. So some customers just want the same product but a different version. Give me the same product, but let it be different. Maybe these shoes were a bit too tight, or the wrong shade of blue, or the gasket was made to fit a different model, and they need the correct one. The same thing, but different version. The same shade of blue, but give me size 42. The same shade of blue, but give me size 38. That is what replacement. It is also what reverse logistics. We talk about recycling and disposal. There are some that you cannot resell. There are some that you cannot repair. There are some that you cannot rebrand. The only option you have is to dispose of that return good. It will be a loss to the organization, but hey, you have to do what you have to do. You lose some, you win some. So consumers are more interested in making sustainable choices. So according to research by McKinsey, 1 in 4 customers say they are focusing more on environmental issues and will pay attention to this when shopping. They are focusing on what environmental issues. How friendly is this product? Was it recycled? Why was it recycled? Was there any defect? Does it have any sustainable character or characteristics, features in it? I don't care how much it is, but I'm talking about the sustainability of this product. I'm talking about eco-friendly of this product. Okay? So, the reverse logistics supply chain talks about this is the flow. The end user, returning shipments, return process, movement to disposition. You have recycle, refurbish, resell, and end user. That is the procedure. That is the process. It's as simple as this. The end user returns, we receive. We take it back, we process. We move it, we say, okay, can we resell? Can we refurbish? And then it ends with the end user again. So it is end to end. It reverse logistics starts from the end user and ends with the end user. That is how it plays. So forward and reverse logistics process. We talk about the supplier, the factory, distributor, wholesale, and stores and consumers. When you look at the traditional process below, you understand the process of reverse and forward logistics. The forward has gone and then it's intertwined. It goes this way, forward and backward. We talk about remove items, goodwill, dispose of product, the waste, fix, refurbish, store consumers, and so on and so forth. These are the processes that is required in forward and reverse logistics. So reverse logistics moves goods from traditional endpoints of the supply chain at least one step backward. This process can involve various plans and controls. Okay? we look at five steps to good reverse logistics. 5 steps. Process the return. The 5 steps to a good reverse logistics. First, process the return. Don't just keep it there. See what you can do, because that is the money of an organization tied down there. The money of the organization is seen in that product. So what do you need to do? You don't discard it. You try as much as possible to process the return. Deal with the return. Once the return product arrives at your location or centralized processing center, inspect it and determine its return category. The return category speaks about, can it be resell? Can it be fixed? Can it be repaired? Can it, those that we mentioned. Analyze it, deal with it to get your result. Keep returns moving, repair and recycle. Any part of product that cannot fix, reuse or resell should be sent to the area for recycling. Any product, any part that you know you cannot fix, come on, you only have one option: recycle it. Types of reverse logistics: return management, return policy and procedures. Reverse logistics component is trying to tell us what and how different organizations operate their policies when it comes to reverse logistics. So we say return management. This process deals with product returns from customers or avoiding returns in the first place. These activities should be fast, controllable, visible, and straightforward. It should be the policy of the organization to say that any reverse logistics that comes in, we must deal with it as fast as possible. As fast as possible. Then we talk about return policy. There are some organizations that do not operate return policies. If it is spoiled, it is spoiled. If it is damaged, it is damaged. There is no room for return. They rather send you back your money than to take the product back to the organization. It differs. They rather ask you to keep the product and then produce another one and send for you, but they will never take the bad product back into the organization. It's their own policy. Whichever one works is what they use. Remanufacturing or refurbishment. This is another type of reverse logistics that management, pay attention to. Remanufacturing. Can we remanufacture that same product all over? We don't want to refurbish. We don't want to fix. We don't want to repair. We want to start all over. That might be our policy. Packaging management. This type of reverse logistics focuses on what reuse of packaging materials to reduce waste and the disposal. When you bring it, the same package is what we are going to use to repackage the product and send back. Why? We are trying to cut costs. We are trying to reduce waste. We are trying to minimize, excessive spending on materials. Unsold goods is one of the components. We have talked about the importance of reverse logistics or reverse logistics to your business. It maintains an efficient flow of goods. When you operate a reverse logistics policy, it decreases risk and completes the product life cycle. Instead of handing over a product that will not stand the test of time, you begin to do what? Recall such product and then work on it. If Gardner research says that about 70% of businesses plan to invest in the secular economy open in a new town. So when your policy does not include this reverse logistics, there's every tendency that people will not want to do what? Do business with you. Because if I'm doing business with you and you are not perfect, neither am I. Anything can go wrong. But if along the line you are telling me that you cannot accept the product that got to me in a bad shape, I can't do business with you. I'd rather look for another company that operates the what? The policy. We talk about reverse, recycle, industry, distributor, retail, end user, connection. These are what? These are components of reverse logistics. It starts with collection, recycle, industry, distributors, retail, and then the end user. As a matter of fact, every of these components plays a very vital role in what? In reverse logistics. Now, I want to ask a question. Why should organizations operate reverse logistics policy? Why? Just two people can answer, please. Just two people because of our time. Why should organizations operate a reverse logistic policy?
I think it will be important for an organization to operate a reverse logistic policy to avert litigation.
Thank you. Thank you. To avert mitigation or litigation. Now, let's say, for example, Mr. Andrew does not operate reverse logistics policy. And the goods that he sent or I sent to him or he sent to me is worth about 500 million US dollars. And Mr. Andrew is telling me, hey, Mr. Gabriel, I'm sorry. The goods, please kindly mute your mic. Thank you. Mr. Andrew is telling me, well, Mr. Gabriel, I'm so sorry. This company does not operate reverse logistic policy. The goods that came in are actually not in good shape. Your money cannot be returned. Hello, you are talking about 500 million US dollars. Abba, hey, we will meet in court. But before then, that's why we say and we emphasize on what? Research. I should have been able to read into the policy, the organizational policy of Mr. Andrew to the point that I note that they do not operate reverse logistics policy. Because for me to have entered into such a business agreement collaboration with him, papers must have been signed, documents must have been signed, unless where it was not expressly written that they do not operate, and he wants to take advantage of that on me, then I can sue him and then claim for damages. But where it was clearly stated, out of oversight, out of levity, I overlooked it and then signed, it becomes binding. I cannot sue Mr. Andrew for not operating reverse logistics policy because it was expressly written, but I did not see. So, for us to enter into any collaboration globally, you must read line by line, precept upon precept, alphabet to alphabet, so that you do not make any mistake that will bring down your business. Your money will be tight. Did you not see it? Yes, we saw it. what is happening in the banking industry. I can bet you that when you go to open account in the bank, 98% of us do not read the policies of that bank. What do we do? You just turn the back and you sign. You have already told them every week be removing 20 naira from my account, but you did not know. Every month take 100 naira from my account, but you did not know because you were not careful to read everything that was written there. So that is in what? In addition, let's be guided. Let's be guided. We talk about the benefits, of course. You can see dollars here. You can see all other currencies. Benefit of optimized reverse logistics. It produces financial benefits while positively impacting the environment and business culture. That's one of the benefits. The product data collected when engaging with customers after delivery is an advantage of well-executed reverse logistics. What are some of the challenges? Anybody, please. What are the challenges of reverse logistics? What are the challenges of reverse logistics? What are some of the challenges? Anybody can speak, please. Somebody says we don't read the bank policies because the print is too tiny. Before the law, it is never an excuse. The fact that you have signed shows that you read it and you consented to everything that was written. So it is never an excuse in the eye of the law. What are the challenges of reverse logistics? Anybody, please, quickly. Hello, are we still together?
Yes, we are together.
The challenges of reverse logistics. Can somebody just mention a few? What are some of the challenges? Pardon?
Time management.
Time management. The time that would have been used for something else.
Management.
Thank you. Your network is bad. Thank you. We heard that. Time management is one of the challenges. Any other person? Time management is one. Any other person? Where are we? Are we all here?
Wastage. That's
wastage. Thank you very much.
in terms of resources.
Thank you very much. Wastage in terms of resources. Don't forget, we talked about last week saying that the available resources should be well managed. Okay? If you had already made projection that this particular material is going to take care of this, the production is made, and then there's return. Hey, what do you need to do? You will be forced to do what? Place an emergency order for a fresh material just because of the reverse product. So it is a challenge. Any other person? Mr. Folabi, are you there? Mr. Yes. Brown Onimi Lawrence. Okay, Mr. Andrew, what are some of the challenges?
I just mentioned wastage now, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Wastage.
It
Yes, sir.
discourages customers and then ruins trust and destroys business relationship.
It destroys business relationship. It discourages customers
Yes.
from patronizing you. That first shock will be there. For example, you see maybe a very nice sneakers in Jumia or Konga, and you place order, and they brought something else to you. Next time you'll be reluctant. You'll be reluctant. Why? Because of your past experience. So that trust has been eroded. The confidence has been shattered. Thank you very much. So these are some of the challenges that we face as far as reverse logistics is concerned. All right, the challenges we talk about directional. Managers need to set up the right infrastructure for it to be effective. That often requires software that can automate and track every step of reverse logistics. One of the challenges is heavy investments on softwares that will give you an express automation that will give you a track record of what has transpired. It is huge. You cannot compare the kind of software that DHL has to all these local logistics. Moyamo logistics company. Until do me, I do you logistics company. If you touch me, I blow you logistics company. You cannot compare their level of investment when it comes to technology compared to other people that have been in the system for years. So companies will need to do what? To have a cohesive strategies that account for speed, efficiency, and cost. So when taking action, consider policies, partners, your data, your capacity, logistics, and then your transportation. Talking about your capacity, it could be a challenge. Having data at your disposal could equally be what? A challenge. But you must do what? Deal with it. These are the strategies or the strategic ways to optimize reverse. First, evaluate relevant policies and agreements. If it has to be, then it has to be. If it has not to be, then it must not be. Evaluate this procedure. Is it okay for the organization? If we operate the policy of reverse, what advantage will it bring to this organization? What are the disadvantages? Are the disadvantages more than the advantages? Then you begin to know if it is possible for you to do what? To go into it. Collaborate with suppliers. Collaborate with suppliers to ensure the smooth operation. There is a smooth delivery. When you collaborate with suppliers, you can mitigate any form of risk or damages that is quantitative. Hey, I contracted you to supply this. It has been returned because it got damaged along the line. Okay, the policy is this. For any damage that is, incurred, it is shared 60-40. Fine, it's a policy. Why? I don't want to bear all the 100%. No, let me share it to another person so that the financial burden will be less on me. Use data to optimize processes. Use data to do what? Optimize processes. For example, within the last 2 months, how many reverse did we have? Within the last 1 year, how many reverse did we get? What happened to those reversed? What did we do with it? Who was responsible for that? This collection of data will help us to know if we are doing more than we should do while we are shooting ourselves on the foot. Track product forward and backward at every point in time. Once the product leaves, it has to be tracked. When it is returned, it has to equally be tracked, so that the customer does not return something that just got 1% damaged, and before it gets to the organization, it has expanded to 50% damage. No, it has to be what? It has to be tracked, put forward, and then centralized return centers. Centralize your what? Your return center. For example, if I'm within, let's say, within Nigeria, I can decide to say in the Northeast, there's a return center. In the Southwest, there's a return center. In the South, there's a return center. In the East, there's a return center. Why? In order to avoid the level of complexity, in order to avoid wastages, in order to avoid time wastage. So at every center, there's a return. You don't need to bring it down to Lagos. No, where is it coming from? It's coming from Abuja. Okay, where is the nearest center? Maybe Kogi State. Where is it coming from? From Port Harcourt. Where is the nearest center? In Delta. It is easier. That is what centralized return centers. Then we talk about examine logistics and transportation. Review the process for forward and reverse logistics and transportation in order for you to determine if it is visible to integrate some of these processes and then transit. For example, if your delivery driver can pick up empty pallet as they drop off full pallet, you save time and money. You don't need to go up and down. If it is something that can be done immediately, then it ought to be done. We talk about automation. The help of software is what automation is all about. How does reverse logistics impact supply chain management? This is how it impacts. One of the ways is that when supply chain management accounts for the reverse and forward flow of goods, and the surge of return can drive up supply chain costs, harming profitability. We said that before. When you have within 5 months, the number of returns is outrageous. It hampers on what? Profitability of the organization. It affects the profit of that organization. That is how reverse logistics affects the organization. The money, don't forget, the dispatch is coming back to the organization with the product. When we are done, he is going back and he will equally return to the organization. That is what expenses. The cost of fuel, the cost of diesel, the cost of documentation, right, could be very harmful to the organization. It could be very harmful to the organization. It also ensures, or to the organization in a negative way, because when a product is returned backward, the vendor from the supply chain loses a particular time. He loses time that could have been used for something else. He loses other resources that could have been injected into something else. So it affects the supply chain. You are going back to the manufacturing center, to the packaging, to the warehousing, to the rebranding, and all of that. Every department that could have focused on something else would be what? Paying attention to the reverse. Is not healthy for the organization. Is not healthy for the organization. So monitoring reverse logistics in supply chain. How do we monitor? How do we monitor? You monitor, one of the ways is by using or investing in what? In softwares. We have emphasized softwares with it. It's unfortunate that, will I say it is fortunate or fortunate? The truth of the matter is, in the years to come, a lot of people will lose their jobs. A lot of people will lose their jobs. Why? Because of the technology that is about to happen. So I can just stay where I am without talking to anybody. I know exactly where the goods, where the product has gotten to. That is technology. The AI is part of it. The robot is part of it. How well prepared are we as logisticians, as business people, to be innovative? That we are not doing the same thing that we have been doing for the past 20 years. They will leave you behind. They will leave you behind. When robots will begin to dispatch goods and other things, and you think your motorbike, you think it will still work, it will not work. We need to do what? Invest in what? In technology, if we must move up as what? A company. We consider the volume of the product returned. We consider the percent of cost. What is the cost implication? How does it affect the organization? The condition of returned goods. Is it something that can be refurbished? Something that we can resell? The financial value. What will it cost us to fix it? Don't forget, we are adding another resources, material to it. How are we going to equate that? Who is going to pay for that inclusion of materials? The errors. Who is to be blamed? Who is going to take responsibility? Can somebody be sanctioned so that everybody would be very careful when handling the material? What is the future of reverse logistics? The future of reverse logistics simply is for us to note that there is no organization that will survive without having a reverse logistics policy on ground. Even as big as DHL is, they have that policy. Read and you will see. Multinational companies have reverse policies because they understand that they are dealing with people. My test can just change within a split of seconds. I can be using 44 inches television to watch football All of a sudden, I don't like the way it looks. I need 80 inches. There must be provision for such. Why? Your test changes. Your test changes. What drives you changes. Your status changes. You cannot be a billionaire and in your sitting room you are using 32 inches television. It's not possible. It is not possible. As you are growing to becoming a billionaire or you are a billionaire, you begin to talk about maybe 150 inches. That is how it works. So every company must understand that the future of reverse logistics has come to stay. The types of strategies to optimize. In our last discussion, in our last class, we talked about inbound logistics, outbound logistics. We talked about reverse logistics, and we talked about outsourcing. All of these play a very vital role as far as logistics and supply chain management is concerned. The question is, which works for your organization? Because what works for you may not work for my own organization, right? So factors involved in developing a profitable logistics strategy, your transportation. The question you ask yourself, is the current transportation strategy rendering good service? Is the current transportation strategy cost effective compared to the other alternative transportation strategy employed? Ask yourself the question. Once you answer, then you know that you are good to go. Somebody asked himself a question and said, in this company that I am, where do I see myself in the next 5 years? He said he could not answer where he sees himself in the next 5 years. He fought and fought and fought, he could not. At the end of the day, what just came to his mind was just to take a sheet of paper and say, I hereby tender my resignation, finish, and he left. And ever since, his life has never remained the same. So when you ask yourself certain questions that you do not have answers to, it shows that something is wrong somewhere. It shows that there is no future. There is no understanding as to what you are looking for. We talk about logistics system. What is the system that you are using? Is the information system helping the logistics system procure, produce, and deliver products on time? Is the sales management system to decrease expenses, manage data, and track location with robustness and accuracy? What logistics system are you using? Are you depending on the call that you must be called to what is happening? You must know what you are looking at. Some of the factors that influences logistics planning, consumer psychology and logistics planning. Imagine this, in an ideal setting, the manufacturer has an optimum inventory stock to keep the assembly line running without any hiccups or additional hiccups. However, different customers have different needs at different times. Just like I said a few minutes ago, I am a millionaire. My needs now, my test now is to have something worth my status, something worth my level in life. That is a challenge. That is what will influence what? The logistics in the company. Because of what? Because of my test, because of my needs. Right? Consumer psychology. Then we talk about distribution, network strategy, and logistics planning. Every logistic distributor's dream is to achieve the ideal of fully loaded trucks operating on scheduled time and route with 100% safety and accuracy. Where you are headed to, how safe? The environment that you are headed to, how safe? The global community that you are headed to, how safe is it? How safe? If you are able to answer, then you're able to know what planning you have to put in place. Okay, we have made mention of return management.
Because I have future plan of
warehouse,
NGO.
warehouse management to minimize waste and maximize storage capacity. That is the dream of every warehouse manager, every organization, every organization. Cash control, supplier cash control, customer cash control. Then we talk about operating expenses control. A simple but often overlooked rule, minimizing incorrect supplies, not by just correcting the particular order, but by finding out the point of error will go a long way in controlling operational expenses. Sometimes because we have the money, you say, okay, don't worry, then it will be corrected and you pay. But did you find out the point of error? How can this be corrected so that there's no repetition, so that we can also control our operational expenses? Because every organization wants to maximize profit while reducing costs to the barest minimum. So anything that forces as a waste must be curtailed as much as possible for the betterment, for the growth, the development, and stability of that functional organization. Any question, please? Any question? Any question, any contribution? I would like Mr. Andrew to make an input. I believe we have logisticians in the house. We have some house. We have just in various field of endeavors in the house. Let us share experiences. How has this affected your organization? Which aspect of this did your organization overlook? And what were the consequences? Just share an experience that you had in your organization. Thank you. So, Mr. Andrew, over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time and efforts you've been putting in the last 3 weeks in order to impact us knowledge. I truly appreciate this as a person, sir.
Thank you
nothing
so
much. Yeah, as part of what I've been taught in the last 3 weeks, I want to bring a case study of what happened in my company in the last 1 week and how I was able to handle the situation based on my experience and based on what I've been taught in class in the last 3 weeks.
Wow, fantastic.
I work for a group of companies and which I happen to be the procurement and the logistic lead of my company. And sometimes last week, this time last week, to job. And due to the insecurity of the road, the Nigerian road, I don't want to keep the company drivers. I don't want to expose them to risk at this time, considering where the consignment is going to. The consignment is going
Yes.
to Plateau State, Jos. We have company trucks. We have drivers who are available, who are even trained to travel. But I don't want to expose someone's father or someone's husband to the road. So I decided to delegate my risk or give my risk to a logistics company, which happened to be God is Good Logistics. I transferred the risks to them, and they came. They ascertained the consignments. But because of being an experienced person, my MD stepped into the scenario, and he was talking to the logistics person, the logistics lead for God is Good, the branch I tried to engage. And because my management gave him, promised him a token that once this gets to just at so day, just call me, I will give you this. And the guy tried to make things work, but as experienced, I knew it was not going to work. He said the item was going to be delivered on Monday morning, that the item was going to leave um, on Saturday night. But after finishing class on Saturday, I tracked the consignment and I knew that consignment was still in Lagos. So right there, I decided to take adequate measures by communicating with them and also informing the management that please, because the consignment is town bound. Once we don't get them get them delivered on Wednesday, we lose our first advance payment, which is about 85% of the contract, which was running into millions. So I was able to manage the situation. Monday, the item just got to Abuja. I was tracking them, and I just had to get the management of God is Good involved. That at this time, I think there's going to be need of backcharging you, because there was a stipulated agreement that this item was going to get Josh on Monday, and at that time, my my company was about involving the company lawyer to take up legal steps against God is Good, because we are at the verge of losing our funds. We brought in this item from UK just to get them delivered to the client. And now what happens if the client sales, she's no longer interested in the item because of the lead time God is Good gave us, the expected time of arrival. He said he was going to get it. So I was, based on the experience, I was beginning to be in communication with God is Good. And to the glory of God, I was able to manage the situation by speaking to God is Good directly, and all things being equal, the item got to just on Tuesday night, and it was delivered on Wednesday according to the client specification. So I think, in summary of what all I'm saying, as a logistician, you need to be brave. You need to sit down, look at the terms and conditions of movement or lifting, to ensure that it's safe and it's okay by you. Because if not that had stepped in, the young man was trying to make some money for himself by trying to beat the company procedure and policy. So as a logistician, you need to sit down, think, and review policies before you enter into them. Thank you, sir.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you so much. We are glad that the little effort you are putting in, is being applied, and result is being experienced. Thank you, sir. Any other person, please? What has been your experience? Any other person? Any other person before we call it a day? Okay, nobody's ready to talk. Mr. Folabi Johnson, are you there? Mr. Folabi Johnson. All right, I can see
I'm
that
here.
it is okay. Any experience to share with us?
Nothing much, sir. I'm I'm learning also, so but nothing much.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time for today. Thank you for the test. I'm glad some people scored up to 45. A whole lot of people scored up to 45. That means it was so cheap. It wasn't difficult at all. But that notwithstanding, thank you for your effort. Over to you, MJB Management.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Friday. Today has been another wonderful day. It's another wonderful day in class. I want to appreciate our participants. You've been wonderful, everybody. Permit me to say, Mr. Andrew, thank you for your experience or sharing your experience with us. I believe with me, particularly, I've learned from it. So please, let's not be shy. Let's try to share our experiences when the opportunity comes. What do we say to Mr. Friday? What do we say to Mr. Friday today?
Thank you, Mr. Friday. Thank you for your efforts, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Friday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Johnson,
Have a
Afolabi.
great day.
Thank you so very much. Thank
Thanks
you very much.
for imparting us
Good night.
positively.
See you.
Bye. Bye.
See
All
you
right.
on Saturday.
You are
All right.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, everybody. Do
You are
have a
welcome.
lovely
Thank
night
you.
rest and a blessed week ahead. We'll see
And
the
you
last
too.
day, which is on the 9th. Bye for now.
Yes. You are welcome.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.